Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the August 20, 2025 meeting of the trustees of the trust funds. I will note that we have a quorum present and bring the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the approval of the July 23rd, 2025 meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move approval.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Any comments or corrections or?
I will abstain since I was not here.
Okay. Anything you've noted, Dana?
No.
Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
The chair votes with one abstention. Okay, next item on the agenda is
Morning.
a request for dispersal of funds from the Public Arts Trust.
This is the final payment, Judy.
It is, that's
Have you
correct.
seen it?
I had the invoice right. I sent you the
Oh, have
invoice.
you seen it?
I have not seen the art piece, I have not.
Is it installed?
Better be, because that's the only way they get
Yes.
paid.
Yes,
Yeah, well, the memo suggested that it was accepted, and that was in the contract, that triggered the due date of the final installment, so.
Yeah.
I think if you're on your way home, you'll take a quick
Drive by.
run through, you'll see it. Any questions concerning that? If not,
I move the authorize the payment, final payment.
okay.
Second.
All right, any other discussion concerning the request? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye.
John, just to let you know, I'm gonna need you to get the funds with me because these are city funds and that's going to be out of Bangor. And so I don't have checks
Okay.
to sign. Okay, so I'll work that out with you that we'll have to go get this.
Do you want to do that today, or you want to do that?
I'm not sure what my schedule is today, I haven't looked at my
Alright,
calendar, but we'll work it out. They know, I've told them that it's not gonna be as fast as normal because the funds are no longer in the regular checking account, they're kept separately, so they're aware.
Okay.
Okay?
Not a problem. All right, next item on the agenda is the request of disbursement of funds from the indoor pool liquidating charitable trust. The materials are in your packet. I entertain a motion concerning this request.
I'll move we approve the transfer $18,135.37 as requested.
Hear a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
What's that gonna leave for balance, Judy?
Geez, Peter, that's a good question. There was over $100,000 in there, so about 92,000.
And the deal, when we took it back over, is the city's now responsible for the upkeep.
Yeah, well, we received 185,000 originally.
Yeah,
Yeah. So there's still
a lot of money in
a
there,
lot
there's
of money
plenty,
left
yeah.
there, and in the
Thank you,
cities
John.
are concerned. Okay, I will call the question. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 The chair votes aye. All right. The TD management,
Does anyone need copies of anything? I've got the bigger sheets if you need them.
I'd like the bigger sheets. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Does anyone need the dashboard from TD, or are you all set with that?
I have
Get
that
the
one.
dashboard.
I have that.
You got this one?
Yeah, I've got the
This is-
small one, but
Yeah. This one. And this one. You're welcome. How about you, Dana, do you want?
Yeah, no,
the
I'll
bigger
take
one?
it. Is that that supposed to be red?
This is a positive.
The total balance is less.
But it was more than the month before. It's based on the month before. It's a reduction from the month before.
Oh, this is 24.
Four, yeah.
24, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay, I read it back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And his match. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
And you wanna add anything to these reports, please,
Wanna add anything?
or just
Yeah.
comments or observations?
Well, that's the highest amount that the trustees have ever had for TD, for 28.2 million. So, very good month for TD, and highest balance that we've ever had as far as the investments go, so impressive.
Plus, as we discussed at our last meeting, it doesn't even include
Correct.
the bank
Correct,
balances.
and I will be working on that. I'm starting to work on now, closing out the year. So I will have that probably in September, and start reporting it that way with the TD investments, and then down below, the other CDs investments, so that you can see the total.
So you think you'll have that for us starting in September?
September is my goal, yeah, because I need to get the MS9 and MS10 going and filed, so I can do it all at once while I'm doing it, because I'll be working in all that, so that's
And then after that, that will just be a regular monthly report.
correctly.
Right.
That's correct.
Okay,
So,
any questions or comments, observations you'd like to make?
The only question I have.
Yep.
Dana, are you going to be reappointed or request reappointment?
For trustees,
Yeah,
unlikely.
unlikely, okay. And then, that's too bad. I think we're coming up on a year of re-advertising for, and I don't think it would be fair to do it before a new trustee came aboard, so. I will hold off on that request.
Okay. Yeah, well, TD started with us in May of 2021, so we're really only in year 4. So
Yeah,
we'll
but
know-
by the time we finish,
it will be next year.
Yeah, it would probably, we'd start the process toward the end of next year. And then,
Typically, what, 7
Right.
years?
well,
I
I think it said
7 years,
5,
so,
but 7, yeah.
Other than that, Peter, any comments on the?
No.
Right, well, we could say this was our brilliance, but we'll take the results.
All day long.
Okay,
What goes up, must come
I
down
know.
at some point. Let's see.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
good.
the next item is that below market rate trust investments. So that's the ones where we voted 2 months ago to have the funds transferred into the best paying CDs, the banks, CDs and the banks that are paying the highest rate of return. And Judy will tell us how that worked out, what the final rates
So
were.
we've got 250,000 invested with Newburyport Bank, interest rate at 3.81
The term,
term, excuse me.
no.
6
3
months.
Six?
6 months. So that means in December I'll come forward and start asking again, and we'll have a discussion.
Who's that with?
Newburyport Bank,
Did you say 3.8?
3.81.
Yeah.
Okay, and then TD, that one took a little bit longer to get set up because they have so much paperwork. Is at 3.67 for 6 months. So, and 250,000 on that one as well. So, and again, it's, they'll both come due right around the same time, so I'll go out and put together, I'll touch base with you all in November and tell you the banks I'm looking at, see if there's anybody you wanna add or take off or any of that, and then we'll move forward from there so that we're ready to go and I'll also speak with the city manager to see if she has any inkling of, you know, whether or not we should renew both CDs as far as if they're going to be coming in for money, because don't like to set up a CD and then break it like 2 months in if we can help it, so. That sounds all right to all of you.
Yep.
Okay,
There's been no discussion, certainly at city council meetings.
not yet, no,
Any project. I don't think we're gonna do anything between now and the election anyway.
correct. And that was the city manager's opinion on that when I had spoken with her a couple of months ago, is that probably nothing would happen until after the elections in November, until they start looking at that again, so.
Okay.
I actually have, I have checks to sign. I also have 3 items that I'd like to add on, all pretty financial and related, but.
Sure.
First off, I need to get you to sign I have a bunch of scholarship checks. And also, I do have the check for the indoor pool as well, so if you can sign off on that you already approved.
Thank you.
Anyone ever been into that indoor pool lately?
I haven't.
I haven't.
It's gonna close Friday for the year.
For the year?
Oh, the outdoor pool is.
No, oh, the outdoor pool,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not the indoor.
No, that's it all together, it's just the backup for the indoor pool. Peter, would you mind signing as a second on that? That's for the indoor pool. Thank you. I also have 2 check requests that have come in for futures for their administration costs that they come in for every year. Let's look at these trustee checks. Scholarship checks. Authorization from Zach is in the back.
I put them on the top line, Tom.
Yep.
Oh, foolish. It's good to see these scholarships going out, Judy.
They are hot and heavy. That's one of the things I want to talk to you about. These are some future scholarships that Future sent over to be distributed.
Around 8,000.
I don't know how they come up with some of their amounts, they're kind of odd.
The amounts of the
Futures.
The futures, but sometimes I think they're just picking up the balance, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
the
Like what-
last dollar.
Yeah. So Futures came in and are requesting their admin costs for the year. They come in once a year.
Thank you.
Future scholarship checks. 6 there.
Does Futures still issue scholarships out of the New Hampshire Charitable Fund account? that
Yes.
they have?
They do too.
They do?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's both?
It's both. These are the admin costs that Zach, the superintendent for me.
Do you have any idea how much they have in the charitable?
I don't.
2 million anyway.
This one's for
Are they dispersing,
expenses, and then this
Presumably
one's for
are
salary
they
for
doing
Jenny.
rolling
She's the
average
one
or-
that is on staff.
I think that's what they're still doing. I don't know. I've been away from Futures for that length of time.
Are these
We
typical
were able
amounts?
to
Yes,
get this
they are.
money down here
They don't vary much at all, to be honest. Yep,
because I was tired of paying New Hampshire Charitable Fund the higher percentage rate.
Right.
And, we were able to do it, but we didn't get the whole thing. And one of the reasons for that was, so a lot of the funds that were established by people specifically to be invested in the charitable fund. Name scholarships.
Right.
so the first item I have is I've gotten the bill for the Haven Metals.
Oh,
For,
They're not gold, are they?
they're not gold. So the top one is the smaller one for the 2. This is the total for this, the amount that this Haven Metal Fund is paying for, Peter. This, oops, excuse me.
because they didn't put the same on me.
This one is for the 2 that you and Tom said that you were going to pick up.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'll leave that invoice with you all and you'll send it out, or do you want to give me the checks and have me mail it? However you want to
Can
do
I give
it.
you cash? No?
I'd have to,
Give me cash, I'll write out. a
there you go.
check.
He's going to write out a check
No,
for the whole amount?
I'll write it. I mean, I'm around, we make it up to Ally's.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
I'll do it.
Okay,
So I gotta write a check for $45.
correct. Correct. I know.
So on this one here, just to be clear.
Sorry to cost you money, Tom, but that was the easiest way to
Well,
sell it.
no,
Yeah, it was
I'm
the right
happy to. So this is, they don't signify what they're for.
8 medals, yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
the other 8, yeah.
We just have to assume that.
Well, they knew that it says to be billed separate, so.
Yeah.
And we knew it was 2 medals, so,
All right.
okay.
You want us to bring it in to you, or you want
Well,
us to
we can
mail it
do
to
that
Steve?
way, and the reason why I say that is one of the things I want to talk to you about is the scholarship requests are coming in really fast right now. So I was wondering if there might be a way that 2 of you could come back next week, at the end of the week, and sign some more scholarship checks, because, so that we can get them to the school.
I can.
So you could
I'll
bring
bring
in
the
the
check
check at the same
time.
time, yes. And you and I need to get together from Bangor anyway, so I can have you
Sure.
take care of it. Okay.
After Thursday.
I just hate to hold off. I got 10 by the end of the day yesterday after doing the check run, so they're coming in fast right now, so it'd be good to get them out to the school if that's okay with everybody. And then my other item is that I heard from Kathy Ferguson, Tom. Kathy Ferguson was if you wanna talk about what she had spoken to you about, and then I can tell you the latest.
Sure, well, let me just, is there anything further on the Haven Meadow ones?
No,
So-
once we get that, I'll pay the, out of the scholarship.
463.
Correct, and then, and I'll have you sign that check with the scholarship checks, all that will go out and it will be done.
Are we in front of the charitable division at the state on this Haven Metal issue?
Well, we'll get to that. And I'll give you an update on that, although the update is gonna be, I don't have an update. I reached out to Susan on that, but she was on vacation. All right, so we don't need another vote on this, you can just go ahead and pay it, right?
Right, because you
Yeah.
had voted
We
in the
approved
past,
the
yes.
amount,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So, Kathy Ferguson, Kathy Ferguson is one of the individuals who is involved in setting up the Lower State Street Pocket Park, sometimes known as the J. Smith Pocket Park on State Street, across from Richardson's Market.
Right.
And she had reached out to Judy and then spoke with me because she wanted to request a disbursement from the Parker Park Trust to clean up and remove it.
Which trust?
There is a small Lower State Street
Right.
Pocket Park
Yeah.
Trust. It was established, you recall that land was acquired by J. Smith.
Right.
I believe his intent was to prevent it from being developed. At the time, it used to be owned by Joe Sawtelle when he owned a building next door that was leased to actors at Theater by the Sea. You remember that? And anyway, this was set up after he passed away, and you may recall probably about 8 years, maybe 10 years ago, we dealt with a request for dispersal of funds for work that had already been done in the park. Basically, put the brick walkways in there, put that head sculpture in there, and some plantings. So she had a small group of people led by her had decided it was time to clean up the park. And if you go over there, it looks a little shabby. So I spoke with her at length, and she explained what she wanted to do. She sent me a drawing with arrows saying, remove this tree, do this, etc. And I told her that based on our last experience in terms of the trust, that she would have to get city approval to do anything in that park because it's a public park. And that if what she's proposing to do, which it sounds like it is consistent with the terms of the trust, and the money would be there to pay that. But she couldn't do the work and then come to us and ask for reimbursement. So I suggested she reach out to Peter Rice, since the park falls within his authority, and she said she was going to do that. So I had that conversation. She originally wanted to come see us first, and I said, if you come see us, this is what we're going to tell you at the meeting, so you should go talk to Peter first. So do you have an update on that?
I do. She reached out to me, and she has spoken with Peter Rice. And at this point, Peter Rice is going to have Corin go out and take a look at it and see what condition it is, what can be done in-house through what we have already available to us, and kind of do an analysis of that. And then if there are monies that need to be done for anything there, he's going to come to the trustees about it at that point. So he's in contact with her, but it's kind of with Peter Rice right now.
Okay.
Okay?
Who's Corin?
Corin is one of the park's facilities. He's like, I wanna say he was one of the managers of the park, or the manager of the parks, so. He's the one that orders all the flowers for Prescott Park and all.
Do we know the balance that's in that park account?
It was around, I wanna say it was like 85,000
Wow.
in that neighborhood.
Who owns it?
City owns the park.
All right, so the final vote then should come from the city council.
I believe so. I can't remember how the trust is written, Tom, can you? But I mean, when we get there, I mean, Peter hasn't even done an analysis yet, but yeah,
Yeah, I don't have that
I don't have it with me.
with me, but I believe that that's correct. It
Yes.
requires,
Most of our trusts do. There are very
well,
few,
and last time around, I think we had to get the city council
yes.
to consent to the disbursement.
And also, I received 2 checks from Futures from the New Hampshire Charitable Fund. It's their annual, the 2 checks that come in, one for $120,000 and one for $500. These are, these look like donations. So I have the New Hampshire Charitable Trust for $120,000, and then I've got a check for $500. And a check for, both for 500, so a check, total of 1,000. Both of them for, deposit into the Futures. Janelle and Michael Pavian, and, the Berenger Hood Family Charitable Trust is the other one, so, with your approval, I'd like to go ahead and deposit those into the Futures accounts.
Okay, so the larger one from New Hampshire Charitable was
is the
usual
yearly.
distribution.
Yes,
The other two are just
donations.
one-off donations.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
I entertain a
That
motion
could be,
to-
that also from the charitable could be for administration.
Correct.
Well, that's what it would be for.
Right.
That
not
is
for
correct.
scholarship.
No, we don't,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's their annual that they send in.
So the administration checks that we just signed are basically covered by this distribution?
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to accept.
So move.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Unanimous.
Great, thank you. That's it for me.
That's it.
That futures balance must be pretty high to get $120,000
Yes.
distribution.
It's over 2 million. With a charitable fund. Over 2 million.
That's still like 5%.
5%, yeah.
So it's probably more than 2 million.
Yeah, probably more.
Okay, so a quick update on the Haven Metal thing. Last week, I had emailed Susan with a list of items, just hoping I would be able to provide you with an update. I got an out-of-office message saying she's on vacation until, I think, today. So, no news at this point. So I will follow up with her. Hopefully she'll get back to me this week, but
She was reviewing the
the petition has been fully prepared, was approved by us, was signed by us.
yeah,
And the next step was she was gonna reach out to Attorney Dempsey at the AG's office to get their signature on it, and then get it filed with the court.
and that's where we're at.
Well, at least it was the last time we had a
Okay.
conversation. I also asked for an update on the Kohlhaas matter and on the Keenan one as well. So, and I asked for when we might get some guidance on the investment policy issues that we examined.
Public versus private funds.
Yes, exactly. Okay.
This must be vacation week because at the city council meeting, there was no city manager, no city attorney, and 3 councilmen were missing.
I guess so. All right, that's the end of our formal agenda. Is there any new business you'd like to bring up?
I have one item. I could use some help.
You've got a pretty thick file there.
I've been doing some house cleaning, and over the years, I've accumulated a lot of Prescott Park history, memorabilia, notes, documents. I've sorted through it. I have it. You and I talked a little bit about it. I'd like to know whether give it to you, and what will you do with it?
Put it with all the other history that I have.
You have a lot of history
I
too.
do. I do. But I don't know if it's the same, so we're more than happy to take it.
Okay.
We hang on to all those documents. I have boxes that we
But
have.
it's a good, it begs the question, whether it's best kept with you, best kept with the Athenaeum, best kept at the city library, all this type of history. And I'm certainly not one to judge, but happy to turn this over to you.
Okay.
But these would all be materials that you accumulated as a trustee during your term as a trustee, right?
Yes.
So all those materials, you didn't do any independent research?
No, but a lot of this Michael Warhorse did, some of
I
that
would-
independent research.
I can't guarantee that I've got it, so
Yeah, so I, my thought on it is that it ought to go to Judy in the first instance, and she should, whenever her time allows,
Yeah.
review and at least
passing of the documents.
take copies of anything you don't have, and then if there are duplicates and they have some historic significance, then maybe they probably ought to go to the library as opposed to the Athenaeum.
Yeah.
Because they're,
There's a lot of festival history in there going way back to the 70s.
Which is great,
and,
yeah.
A lot of history on the dynamics between the city and the festival during
Yeah.
our friend's tenure.
okay, anything else? Nope, okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
What, public?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi.
Would you like to say anything?
I wouldn't, no. Thanks for letting me be here. Just
Yeah, no, that's,
continuing to learn about trustees and what you guys do, so.
You and I spoke, but would you
Yeah,
like to
I don't know if we've
yourself?
officially met. So my name's Corey.
Peter Weeks.
I'm a Portsmouth resident. So I actually work for Citizens, doing similar to what TD does for you guys.
Yeah.
But I'm not here on that on behalf of that. I'm just trying to learn more about trustees and what you guys do.
Where are you guys located now?
So I'm out of Manchester.
Manchester.
I mean, that's where my office is, but I live off Islington Street. I live on Cornwall Street
Oh,
in
okay.
town here. Yeah. And I'm also on the board of the Warner House. So maybe someday, if I get to know you guys a little bit, we could, we got a big project going on there now. If you'd ever be curious about. They're fixing the cupola on the top of the roof. I don't know if you guys have seen as you've walked by.
Yep.
So, but yeah. So I work with like 15 different towns as part of my work with Citizens, managing the investments. But I realized that I don't really know a whole. I know a lot about managing portfolios. We do it for a lot of other clients, but I don't know a lot about what trustees do. So that's kind of why I was looking to attend these meetings and learn a little bit about that.
What's the going rate now, fee wise?
So that's a good question. So most institutional portfolios probably start around 0.5%, and the bigger they are, it goes down from there. So, like I know, for example, Nashua just did their RFP, and they were putting their pension in it too. So and they had a lot of capital reserves. So it was like $130 million total. And I think Cambridge won that one, and they're charging I think it was 14 or 15 basis points. So it's pretty low if you have a really big pool of money. But Nashua and Manchester are kind of their own animals. I think most other towns, I think it's in the neighborhood of 0.5% per year.
We're lower than that.
Okay, so you guys are doing pretty good. But you guys are one of the larger ones too. You know, a lot of towns is kind of more in the
Yeah.
2 to 5 million range.
We hit 28 million
Yeah.
this month.
So, so you guys, are you probably, are you kind of around 40 basis points or even lower than that? Oh, good. Okay, so you guys are at a good rate. Yeah.
He was a tough negotiator.
Yes,
Good.
he
You
was.
should be. There's always room. They've got room, you know. So,
Well,
you know, one thing I'd say, just I don't know. I don't want to like meddle or anything, but one thing I noticed, it seems like you guys invest in different CDs, and it might be a good idea if you're trying to spread the money around to different banks. But TD might have kind of like a money market fund that you can ask to not be charged on that, and current money markets are yielding 4 4.25 right now. So, and you have the it's liquid, so you don't have to worry about breaking a CD. So that could be an alternative to a 3-month CD. But you might have reasons that you want to keep money at these different banks. So because I know a lot of towns like to spread the money around, but
let's check on that, Judy.
Actually, he's right.
But you'd want to specifically tell TD that you'd be wanting the money to be unsupervised, like so they're not charging management fees on it.
And that's the way it is with our CD with them.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that's why we've been going to the CDs. No, we don't get a fee on that. But these money market funds he's talking about, some of them have like $1 million minimum.
Yeah.
Depending on the rate, but.
With your interest in the city, consider running for the city council.
I don't know if I'll qualify for that. Do they? Is there? I don't really follow.
You lived in Portsmouth 2 years?
Yeah, I've been here about 11, 12 years now.
Okay, you qualify.
Yeah.
It's nonpartisan.
Yeah. Are there like a lot of? It seems pretty competitive though. Is there?
Well,
No, it's an election in which you don't run for a particular ward or district. You run
Right.
at large, and the top 9
Get
votes
picked. Yeah.
get in. So
Yeah.
need some
Need some new people. Is that what you're getting at?
new blood.
It's open for anybody who has lived in Portsmouth for 2 years and is old enough to vote. So
Okay.
They have $5 or get 50 signatures.
anything else you'd like to ask?
No,
us, or-
nothing else.
Well, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, it's good, thank you.
And I'm sorry, I didn't catch your
I'm Dana Levinson.
I'm sorry, Peter, right. Okay. I'm Corey.
What's your last name?
Boucher, Boucher.
All right, then
Good.
now I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All right,
Great.
all in favor, indicate by saying aye,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye.